It's Maya Marie. Welcome to another video. If you're watching, you want to do your own hair protective style, whether it's braids, twists, locks, but you don't really know how to part your own head. And let me tell you, I have over 4, I would say, years of experience doing my own hair. Probably more than 4 years. I started doing my own hair in high school. I am now 21 years old. So I will say that parting your head is the hardest part. But once you get the flow of it, you're good to go. So this video hopefully will be able to help you gain confidence in doing your own hair and then show you the steps. So I just wanted to do this short little intro video because I totally forgot to do that before. So I'm recording this like way late. But I just want to say this video is for large parts. If you want me to do another video for medium, small, I can totally do that. But this one specifically is for large parts. If you're a beginner, start with large. It's easiest for me. And this is for any protective style or any protective like braids, knotless braids, box braids, singlies, twists, passion twists, locks, any of those type of styles, bohemian locks, bohemian braids. You can do this for that. It don't matter. It's just the parts, y'all. It's just parts. Another thing I would say is I make sure to include a learning method for both auditory and visual learners. So you will hear me talking through the steps, trying to, but also obviously showing you through video. Just want to put that out there. So some of the things that you will need. You will need a rat tail comb. You need your favorite braiding gel. I use Lock and Style, which you'll see later on in the video. You also need hair clips. Whether it's the big hair clips, you might need 4. I like to use the smaller hair clips. I'll put a little image right there because I forgot the name of them. But you need a good amount of those so you can kind of like keep the hair sectioned off and make sure it's clean when you're parting or when you're braiding down. You'll see later on. And then just a hair tie or something like that. But I would say get a rat tail comb that has the metal end to it, girl, because you're going to really need that. It's going to help you so much. It's going to be so much easier for you. And then the last thing, well, 2 more things. Blow dry your hair beforehand. Please do that. Even if you don't like to put heat on your hair, girl, just do it one time. One time won't hurt. Because if you don't, your hair is not going to be, even if you detangle your hair, it's not going to be as easy as blow drying your hair. And if you don't want to blow dry, you can use a stretching method like you putting scrunchies and doing that overnight. Something where you can stretch the hair out. The last thing that I want to say, in this video you will see a weird setup. So that is an important thing that a lot of people brush over, is how are you supposed to see the back of your head? So I will mention this later on in the video, but I do want to address it now. So what I did in this video you will see is I have my phone set up behind me with a ring light, and then I'm watching the back of my head on my TV because I have an Apple TV. But if you do not have an Apple TV, if you do not have, if you don't have an Apple TV, what you can do is you can set your phone up behind you, FaceTime yourself. If you have a MacBook, answer the call on your MacBook, and you can look at yourself on a MacBook, and then your phone will be behind you. So I know that's confusing, but just trust me. FaceTime yourself, put your phone behind you, and your laptop in front of you. And if you have iPad, do that instead of a MacBook or iPhone, whichever way you want. And then there's also the other option of having 2 mirrors. So of course your bathroom mirror in front of you, and then having maybe a long stand-up mirror. That's probably going to be the easiest way. Or if you have another mirror, or if you need to do handheld and that's all you got, that's all you got. But you need to have 2 reflections and a way for you to see the back of your head. All right, so let's get into the video. Do not be afraid, ashamed to comment down a question. No question is a stupid question. And let's go. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to separate the front and the back of your head. So whenever I say the front of your head, front of your hair, this is what I mean. And whenever I say the back, that's what I mean. So you're going to separate this because it's going to make it so much easier for you to be able to part all your head and make it look equal. When you part the back of your head first, then the front, it's just so much more simple. So I highly suggest doing this step. And I use lock-in gel. You can get it from any beauty supply, but use your favorite braiding gel, like a dime size, and slap it on that initial part that you made. So the first time that you went through and carved out that part, put that gel on and then clean it up. The gel makes it so much easier for you to see where that line is coming to life, if that makes sense. Step 2, trace one line from the tip of your ear to the back to the tip of the other ear, if that makes sense. And I will show it, obviously. But you're going to want to do that. Same process. Sketch it out. Trace it, part it, however you want to say it. One time, add your gel to it. And so then it'll make it easier for you to part and make it clean. Tip number 1, this is more for technique. First and foremost, if you're looking at yourself in the mirror, if you're looking at yourself while FaceTiming yourself, you're going to be looking at the opposite of what you're actually doing. So you might feel like you're going straight and you're actually going up a little bit. You might feel like you're going across, but you're going down. Like, just be patient with yourself. Take a deep breath. It's going to be challenging, but you will get it. And then the other tip would be to use the long metal end of your rat tail comb, or if you just have a regular comb, use the long end. For some reason, it just works better when you're trying to carve out those rows, like the large sections. Use a rat tail, the metal end. So once you made that line from ear to the back to the other ear, you're going to split that big section in half. So the back third of your head, split that in half. So now that you've done that row, you can finally start on your columns. And so instead of using the long and the metal rod of the rat tail comb, use the other end, because you're able to have more control on these short little lines, and then section them off into tight twist or loose braids. Alright, I apologize. I should have showed the process of me etching out this line, but basically you see where that is right now. I can pause it for a little bit. So you're going to see that I made a line from like 1 inch above my ear to the other end. 1 inch above your ear is very, very, very important to make sure the start of your line is the same spot of the end of your line on the other side. So if I'm 1 inch above my ear on one side of my head, I need to be 1 inch above my ear on the other side, or else it's going to be crooked and very noticeable. Another tip I would like to drop is invest in a great ring light, because you need as much light directly on the back of your head as possible, so your ceiling lights will not do the job. Your bathroom lights might do the job. But get a ring light. It's so much easier, I'm telling you. It could be a cheap little $20 Amazon one. That's what I got. And look how I can see so clearly. So this is an example of me just not being able to get that part right. So as you see, I go back to using the long end of my comb just because it's such an uncomfortable position for my arm. You also see that my hand is like vertical. And so this will help me get that straight line. And also what would be helpful is to make sure that your forearm and your elbow is in a 90-degree angle. Alright, so your next line, your next row needs to be about 1 inch above the last row that you did. And you're going to want to just go from one end, whatever end you want to go to, from the right to the left, from the left to the right. And make sure that it starts out being 1 inch above the other row and ends being 1 inch of the other row. And also, you're still separating the front part of your head from the back. So make sure that it is clean right here, because you're not going to want to go back and untwist and unbraid to make sure it's straight. So just go ahead and do that now. Okay, if you made it this far, congratulations, because you's that girl. Because I'm telling you, this is not easy. You better brag when you're done with this, okay? Brag about it. So please stop once you've done 4 rows, because you want to start at the crown of your head so you can start the front. And so the first thing that I do with the front of my head is I make one part from either the left or the right side, doesn't matter. I part from my baby hair and connect it to that back part. Better shown in the video than I can explain it, but same thing. Make sure it's clean, add that gel to it, clean it up, do whatever you need to do. Alrighty, so split that piece down in the middle, and you should have 2 parts in the front of your head. And so as you can see, instead of me starting on the left side and going across to the right, I parted a piece on the left and then parted on the right. And so I'm doing this because I like to part the front of my head starting from each side and going towards the middle. There have been so many times where I just started on one end of my head and then parted across, causing that middle section to look so irregular and weird and different from the rest of my parts. So I really recommend that you go from the sides, part from the sides to the middle. Man, I look like a pineapple. That's sad. Tip number 3, everyone's head shape and size is different. So you might have a bigger head than me, you might have a smaller head than me. Make sure you customize it to your head shape. I just want to put that out there. I know that's probably common sense, but you don't need to do it exactly how I'm doing it. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I started from my nose up to the center of my head to make sure that it was actually in the center of my head. And then I just part that all the way back until where the other parts meet. Pretty simple, right? You've made it so far. So once you parted the center of your head, split that off into 2 sections, and you're going to make a part right here. This is where you separated the front and the back of your head in the initial step. Go back there and make that part up into the center of your head. Time to go back to the front of your head, and you're going to go 1 level up closer to the middle of your head. So you're going to part that second row, and this needs to connect from the front to the back of that part that you just did at the crown of your head. Now repeat that same process on the other side of your head. Make that part at the back crown of your head and follow that all the way up to the front. And so you can follow that to the front just like I did. Boom. And take time to make sure that your rows have equal hair. Okay, you made it to the front of your head. This is the easiest part. You're basically there. So what you want to do, which is probably self-explanatory, is part that last section into smaller sections. And I wanted to do a voiceover at this time because I made a mistake. And this is very common. So this part you will see is very wide. So wider and disproportionate than the rest of my head, which is very noticeable as it's in the front. So to clear this mistake up, what you want to do is be honest with yourself. You might not want to correct it, but at the end of the day, you gonna see your head looking bigger on one side than the other. So what you're gonna see me doing is simply just making the parts smaller and taking out the braids from the other parts that I did and adding that hair in there. That's all that I did. You see me doing it right now, cleaning it up. So I didn't do it in the front because I don't have as much hair in the front as a normal person. Like, as you can see, it's very short in the front. I don't know why that is, but that's why I didn't do it in the front, if you're wondering. So don't get angry with yourself. It happens. It's gonna happen a lot. That's why it's good that I'm not actually starting the braiding process, which in my case I'm doing faux locks. So that's good that we're just doing tight braids or loose twists, which I highly recommend you do the entire parting of your head before you jump into the style that you're gonna do. Okay, so right here you see that I'm combing / brushing out the baby hair that I want to keep out. This is a very important step. You just have to brush them out. You don't have to actually do baby hairs, but it just helps me remember when I actually do the style not to brush my baby hair back. So if you are a type of person who doesn't like a lot of baby hairs out, you need to start with all of your baby hair basically in. Just leave a little baby hair out basically, because if you're leaving this style in for a long time, I'd say 3+ weeks, then it's going to be looking frizzy naturally and the baby hairs are going to fall out naturally. So I say start with more baby hair than you want out, because after 3 weeks you'll definitely get that desired look. But this does not go for anybody who likes those exaggerated baby hair. If you like that style, take as much out now. Yay, if you made it this far in the video, congratulations, you just parted your own head, girl. What you need to do is brag about it and pat yourself on the back. Please do that, girl. Like I said in the beginning of the video, comment down any questions that you have. No question is a dumb question. I will definitely answer back. Please comment, share this with a friend. If you guys trying to get on your DIY stuff, share, comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see y'all soon. Hey, 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 hey.